The Care Bears are an analogy for angels. How strong is Grumpy Bear? To understand how strong Grumpy Bear is, I think I have to explain what powers every Care Bear has, and to explain that, I have to explain the source of their powers, and to explain that, I have to explain the racist connotations of the greater Care Bears mythos. To explain the origins, I have to go to the source of their divine strength. As if any of you have to be reminded of any of this. I mean, after all, Care Bears lore is pretty commonly known. Go over to your nearest friend and just ask them which one of the Care Bears is their favorite. They always have an answer. Always. Side note, I think this might be the most comprehensive source of accurate Care Bears information you will ever find online, because the wiki is riddled with wrong information. And like, okay, so this screen is from the 2008 series Care Bears Adventures in Care-a-Lot, which could also be considered 2007, but either way, it lists as 2004, and what's this at the end? It's a all about, yeah, okay, thanks Care Bears wiki. This is a really comprehensive article right here. It's great. Alright, breaking into chapters again. Chapter 1, Divinity. Now, first off, the bears have a creator god. I know this may come as a shock to some of you, but behold the Cloud Keeper, the divine, all-knowing, all-seeing, and all-powerful god of the Care Bears. Note how he appears as a human father figure with a white beard as opposed to looking like an animal. Behold his benevolence and weep. Weep at the sight of true, all-powerful God, and weep more as you remember that we are not looking at him today, but rather one of his many creations. The Care Bears are analogies for guardian angels who live in clouds, watching children from above and choosing to use that benign will to go to earth and guide those who have fallen on hard times or to help in their many difficulties. But how do they do it? Chapter 2, Ursine Force. First, how strong is a normal bear? Then, we could figure out how strong the Care Bears are based on that. So presumably they would have the average strength of a grizzly bear, since most of the children they help live in America, but scaled down to their size. The average grizzly bear is 6.5 feet tall and weighs 290 to 800 pounds depending on food available and gender. Since this video is devoted to a male Care Bear, we will use the male grizzly bear as our test specimen. Looking at this image from the Care Bears movie gives us a scale to see how tall the Care Bears are near their human children. And this can be cross-referenced with a list of average heights and weights of regular kids. We'll use Kim in the example here because she's taller and easier to pin to a specific age. She's either 11 or 12. I checked the Wikipedia article for the Care Bears movie to try to figure out her age, and I did not find her age, but I did find out both of her parents died in a car crash. Big oof. So let's go ahead and say she's 11. Your average 11-year-old girl is roughly 56.7 inches tall, as we all already obviously know. That's 4.75 feet tall. Now, the Care Bears come up to just past her waist here, so that would put them at somewhere around 3 feet tall. So if the average grizzly bear is 6.5 feet long from bottom of foot to head, and a Care Bear is roughly 3 feet tall, we should therefore be able to divide all of the grizzly bear's strength by 2.16666666667 and get the average percentile of what a Care Bear can do without magic. Nice! We have a base formula. A grizzly bear can lift 500 kilograms, roughly 0.8 times its own body mass. That's 1,102.31 pounds. 1,102.31 divided by 2.16 continuing to 7 is 508.758461538, or if you round up to the nearest decimal, that's 508.8 pounds. A Care Bear should be able to lift over 500 pounds without magic. Chapter 3, Magic Powers. Well, first off, they would be powerless without their power source. That's redundant. Okay, So there's this huge care heart floating in the air above the Cloud Kingdom. This is powered by smaller care hearts that are captured by the Care Bear cousins, whom most of the Care Bears seem to be blissfully unaware of. In fact, they keep rediscovering the cousins, and only the oldest and wisest of the Care Bears, Tenderheart, is aware of their existence. This power is utilized in a lot of ways. I know you think all the Care Bears could do Care Bear stares, but that's a common misconception. Care Bears can only do Care Bear stares while in a group of 3 or more. An individual Care Bear cannot do a Care Bear stare. You idiots. You fools. I can't believe this. Okay, now, what a Care Bear can do by themselves is create a cloud car. Of course, we're being general here. This is still something every single Care Bear can do and every single Care Bear cousin can do. We're not getting into specifics like how Amigo Bear can speak every single language, especially English and Spanish, which means he's a Care Bear who can canonically speak Klingon, Parseltongue, or Dothraki. This is the Care Bear equivalent of the Duolingo owl, after all. Off track again, we'll talk about that later. Okay, so cloud cars. When a Care Bear summons a cloud car, they do so by rubbing their belly. These cars can stay physically viable for a trip or two, but can be destroyed by direct electrical or ice elemental attacks, such as ones shot out by Professor Cold Heart. Although a Care Bear cloud car can comfortably seat about 4 to 5 passengers, driver and summoner included, on average the cars can only hold 1 bear. In the episode The Wrath of Shrieky, which was episode 214, aired in 1987, when Treatheart Pig summons a cloud car early in the episode, it has a ton of legroom, but when she does so again later on, it creates a much smaller one, and to try to produce a third one in 1 day, only created a spare tire. The cloud cars clearly seem to have a refractory period. Fellas, Chapter 4. Training. As noticed in the trailer for Care Bears Unlock the Magic, we see that the bears originally had suits of armor. I want to look at this armor in detail. I need to look at this armor in detail. I want to look at the helmet specifically because of the ear shapes that cover the ears. And this implies 3 things about the Care Bears mythos. Number 1, someone in the Care Bears universe is a blacksmith that specializes in crafting armor. This actually makes sense given that the Care Bears have the exact same height and body type, as they are all formed to fit the mass-produced armor. So look, an explanation for their homogeneous body shape. Cool. Number 2, the armor covering their ears implies a fight with bladed weaponry, as most depictions of bears wearing helmets depict the helmet with ear holes and the ears sticking out of the holes. This would prove impractical in combat, as the ears would be a weak point for bladed attacks. This theory of mine is all but confirmed when some of Bedtime Bears books show a Care Bear wielding a sword on the cover. I discovered the picture of the swordsman bear months after forming this theory, though to be fair it's a pretty obvious one. Number 3, and this one's the funny one. The ears being covered by metal would mean communication in the battlefield would be all but impossible. The same series that shows the armor also introduces the idea that bears can use their belly badges to project a video call device that allows long-distance communication, but this would still be pointless if their ears are covered up, unless they lip read, I guess. The thought of a Care Bear in full armor wielding a sword is pretty cool in and of itself. But coupling that with the knowledge that they live in the clouds above Earth watching humans and interacting with them directly is what really makes this for me. Chapter 5. Individual Powers. Although the Care Bears all have primarily the same abilities, backstory, and metaphorical context, what makes them unique is the most important thing. The belly badges each have a symbol that shows their abilities as well as their personalities. For example, Amigo Bear's special ability is that he can speak every language, especially Spanish and English, which means he can speak Klingon. I know I mentioned that earlier and it doesn't seem like a great magic power and you probably thought I was exaggerating, but there are episodes where the Care Bears travel to other planets and it does come in handy. Grumpy Bear is unique because he carries around a carry-all, which is a tool/bag of holding. Grumpy has shown exceptional prowess when it comes to technology, being shown to reprogram robots and to constantly invent new machines that play fast and loose with basic thermodynamics. Grumpy Bear has your standard Care Bear powers, He could create storm clouds and has weather manipulation. Pretty basic Storm from X-Men powers, all things said. However, here's the kicker. He's not just a typical Knight Templar, divine paladin warrior, inventor and engineering mechanic of heaven and savior to children the world over. He's also unique among the Care Bears for being a reality warper. In the 2012 episode Welcome to Grump-A-Lot, the other Care Bears irritate him and make him miss the ending of the Super Bowl, so he freaks out and changes all of Care-A-Lot to become Grump-A-Lot, where every Care Bear is suddenly drastically different personality-wise. This is different from the Care Bear stare. It doesn't seem to adversely affect his energy like creating a cloud car, and it was entirely accidental. That pushes Grumpy way past Storm levels of Omega Mutant to Scarlet Witch levels of Omega Mutant. We're talking House of M level of changing everyone and everything. And speaking of Marvel, now's the part of the video where we talk about characters and line them up with Marvel.com stats. Remember, there are 6 categories and they range from 1 to 7. Let's go.
Cheer Bear, you thought this was a good idea. Well, let me show you something.
Durability 5. Grumpy gets hurt a lot, but I'd say he's pretty durable on account of we don't actually have confirmation that Care Bears have red blood. Energy 7. Although the power source to the Care Bears is the Care Heart, which would not be present in the Marvel Universe and should justifiably mean he's weak there, same as Green Lantern for example, Grumpy is shown to have unique reality warper powers, so he gets a pass. Fighting skills 6. As a former Knight Swordsman, Grumpy trained in bladed combat against enemy forces for land control purposes. The fact he couldn't communicate with the other bears while fighting means that they all had to be well trained in combat beforehand. Intelligence 6. Grumpy is the smartest of the Care Bears and routinely does all of the mechanical work by himself. Speed 4. The Cloud Car allows for fast transportation and would be connected to his own internal energy source. It's the same as counting Superman's flight as part of Superman. Strength 4. We're talking Spider-Man strength here, seeing as how he can single-handedly lift over 500 pounds. Anything less than 4 would seem crazy, and anything higher than 4 would seem really crazy. That's a combined total of 32. Now, the reason I keep bringing up Divine versus Eldritch magic is because Divine characters have natural advantage over Eldritch characters, just like how good will always triumph over evil in media. In the last episode, we calculated the stats for the Eldritch creature known as Ronald McDonald. Already, Grumpy has a higher stat total, but because of the classification of magic each of them use, he gains an additional upper hand as well. Do you agree with this logic? Let me know down in the comments below. Recently, the fellow Tidepool Orchestra conductor, Mike, asked me about Divine and Eldritch in private, stating that for that to be the case, there would have to be a third type of magic, something strong against the Divine while weak to the Eldritch, to create a series of checks and balances like rock, paper, scissors. This is absolutely true. I'm not ready to reveal the third classification of magic just yet, as this video has been going on for too long already. Just know that there is a third type. See if you can guess what it is in the comments below. Until next time, this has been Brelina Kucherik of the Tidepool Orchestra, reminding you to care more about the Care Bears. See ya.